as well. Good evening. Welcome back to House of Medics. Thank you for joining us. So not a very big panel today, but a very effective one. So we'll just go straight in. This is Dr. Rumbi and Dr. Bolu. I'll let you introduce yourself. Dr. Rumbi, ladies first.
Thank you. My name is Rumbi. I'm in my second year as a qualified doctor. I'm also a qualified midwife, just racking up those degrees. Very, very excited to be here in the House of Medics for the first time.
Yay, thank you. And Dr. Bolu?
Hi, I'm Dr. Bolu.
Second offender, he's been here twice.
Second appearance now. What can I tell you? I am a general practicing small animal vet. The only degree I have is veterinary medicine, but it's the only degree you need because I'm a midwife, an optician, a pediatrician, a phlebotomist, whatever.
Okay, whoa. So Dr. Rumbi, the reason why I host the panels is because I don't do anything to do with medicine.
Okay.
So I'm about to ask you a load of questions that maybe students or people that are not in medicine might want to know. So you said some neck stuff. So can you say it again, but slowly?
So I was just kind of breaking down the human professions that surround medicine. Because as you know, vets are like the encompassing doctors for animals. So we do everything for animals. So there's not really an equivalent of like a pharmacist or an optician. Well, there are equivalents of opticians, but it gets more specialized as a vet. So as a vet, you do everything medical related with animals. Okay,
cool. So today's called Doctors versus Vets. So you can already see that Dr. Bolu over here has got his gloves on. He's ready to go. Okay, cool. So a couple of questions for you both. I know you guys have seen Dr. Bolu before, but we'll ask him again just in case you guys are new here or you haven't actually watched us before. So Dr. Rumbi, how did you get to become a doctor? Did you always want to be a doctor? Do you have family members that are within that profession as well?
Yes, I did. I always wanted to be a doctor. When I was 18 or 17, whenever you do your A-levels, I applied to study medicine and I didn't get in.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I thought, right, what can I do which is still something that I would enjoy, that calls to all my skills. So things like biomed science, I just would not enjoy being a biomedical scientist. So that went out the window. Pharmacy, I didn't think that I would enjoy being a pharmacist, but I've spoken to many pharmacists today, and that opinion changed. And so I applied for midwifery instead, and I was very lucky, very, very lucky to get a place to study midwifery, and so I did that.
So just to cut you, so midwifery, for anyone who doesn't know, is?
It is practitioners that look after women through the childbirth continuum. So from conception, pregnancy, and the postpartum.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
Midwifery in a nutshell.
Awesome.
So then I studied midwifery. In my second year of being a student midwife, I thought to myself, why not apply again, give it a go? Still something that was in me, that I thought I did want to be a doctor. I applied, I got in. Here we are.
Lovely. So just to go back a little bit more, did you always want to be a doctor, or was it like a family thing?
No, I think it's a combination of things actually. One day when I was 6, I said, oh, I might want to be a doctor, and the options were probably only doctor, accountant, lawyer or something.
Right.
So out of a few limited options, I picked that one. And for some reason, the opportunities that my parents kind of led me towards were all helping towards that one thing that I said I wanted to do when I was 6.
Right, okay. So how long have you been practicing for?
I'm a class of COVID 2020, so I graduated early, April 2020. Nice. We've just done April 2022, so
Lovely.
2 years.
Okay, awesome. Are you enjoying it so far?
Am I enjoying it most of the time?
Stressful?
I really do enjoy it. It's so stressful.
Yeah.
I'm working in A&E at the moment, and you can only imagine the craziness that I see on a day-to-day basis, but I enjoy my work.
Good, okay, lovely, thank you. Dr. Bolu, the dog doctor.
I don't get so much good.
Do you know what? I'm thinking about our previous messages, our previous conversation about, I think you were saying, remember the dog with the poo? Remember?
I can't remember.
You can't remember?
What
anyway, later. I'll remind you later. So cool. Tell us about how you became a vet, why you're still a vet, what you love about it, pros and cons.
Okay, how I became a vet.
Actually, not pros and cons. We'll do that a bit later.
A bit later, okay.
Yeah.
But how I became a vet, I just was always interested in animals. I loved animals. I loved helping people.
So, question, I know I'm cutting you off really early. So when you were like 5, if you was to see a spider, like a spider, you wouldn't kill it.
I just didn't care. More time though. Yeah, more time. Even now to this day, I still get a bit if I want to kill an insect, I'm a bit more like, let's take it outside.
Yeah, but when you were young, did you have that compassion for bugs?
I didn't really care for bugs. Like, I didn't.
Do you care for bugs now?
Now, yeah, I'm a bit more cautious of like, okay, let's not like. There's no need in senseless violence. But it's not even
senseless.
But it's not even the same. That's not even the veterinary hat though. That's just me just being like. There's just no need for just squishing a bug like. And also, I think there was one time I must have squished a fly, and maggots came out of it because it was like, and I was like, I will never ever squish a fly again just because of that reason. And it was just like, so stuff like that.
How hard did you squish the fly?
But it must have been pregnant for it to have had.
You must have went.
Yeah. So anyhow, I just loved people. I loved helping animals. I loved helping people, and I put it together at that time. It was just the combination. I just wanted to become a vet. I'd always watch David Attenborough. I'd always watch like National Geographic. I fell asleep to watching nature documentaries, reading encyclopedias. And then as I grew older, I just kind of developed a love for medicine as well, because medicine, as Rumbi will probably attest to, is like an evolving profession. It's always changing. It always keeps you on your toes. So the combination of the animals and medicine, that's what led me down the route of veterinary medicine without going deep into my story.
No, we're going to go there. I was just going to say, didn't you? Yeah, but there's new people. Does everyone in the audience know Dr Bolu's story?
I don't
Right.
know,
So we're going there.
I always
We're
feel
going
bad
there.
when I tell you story, but
Why? How do you feel bad?
No, it's just like it's a lot of moving parts. But anyhow, so basically, I'd always wanted to get into vet school. Like that's what I've always wanted to do. And so around about the age of 8 is when I'd kind of like, okay, I'm going to be a vet. And so I kind of looked up all the universities that required, and this is at the age of 8.
Yeah.
So I looked at all the universities that required what they required. And I knew that the University of Liverpool at the time required the most work experience to get in, as well as like A's in this and sciences and maths and all that sort of stuff. So at that point, I kind of set my goal on becoming a vet and how am I going to achieve all these things as I go through my life. Because as you can imagine, medicine, you have to think years in advance.
Yeah.
So all the time just doing work experience, I was doing like, my A-levels.
Sorry, we have to backtrack just a little bit.
Yeah.
So you went to school.
Yep. This
You
is
went
primary
to-
school we're talking about, So
You went to primary school, then you went to college.
secondary school. So
Secondary
primary
school.
Secondary school.
Secondary school, what did you study?
So that's my GCSEs, but I took like 13 GCSEs.
Of course you did.
So
Of
there's a
course
lot
you
like
did.
maths, all the maths, sciences, English, lit, English.
So nothing to
language,
do with
history.
animals.
No, because we don't have anything. Animal based in secondary school. We don't
Right.
have anything.
Okay.
But whereas if you go to college, sometimes there are.
Okay.
More animal
So
based.
from secondary school, you went to.
So secondary school, I went to sixth form. After
And what
that.
did you study in sixth
So
form?
sixth form was I did one A level early, which was government politics. Then I did maths, biology, chemistry, and photography.
So when you was doing the biology and chemistry, did you kind of think, this is a bit medicine-y and I like it?
No, so we're going even because that's even way too late to decide you want to do.
Really?
Yeah, so early. So GCSE
wow.
you're doing biology, chemistry.
Is it?
Yeah, you're doing biology, chemistry, and physics in GCSE. So at that time I was very much like I like.
So you knew what you wanted to do from an early
from
age.
From age of 8, yeah. So from age 8 I knew that that's what
crazy.
I wanted to do. So I was tailoring my life towards that. So if we skip a few years and we get to around the A-level range, it's the time you're applying and you have UCAS, and so I sent my application in at the time, and I remember by that time I had 52 weeks of work experience. So I had worked at like 52. So I'd worked at animal shelters. I'd worked at veterinary practices, large and small animal. I'd worked at a post-mortem lab. I'd worked at dog kennels. And yeah, I used to go to like this animal shelter like 2 days a week after school. There's a lot of commitment. Oh, it's a lot. And I'd gone to Mount Everest, so I'd climbed Mount Everest, and I was like 16 when I did that, so I did Mount Everest. And then I was also like deputy head boy at my school, and I did Duke of Edinburgh. I don't know if you know about Duke of Edinburgh.
I do,
Yeah.
yes.
And I did the silver and bronze of Duke of Edinburgh. So I had this like glowing personal statement, and I actually, funny enough, at the time of applying to university, I sent my UCAS form off to an admissions tutor at an Imperial for medics, just for her to screen my personal statements.
Yeah.
And then some other teachers and different people, and everybody's like, yeah, you'll get a place. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
And guess what?
Yeah, everybody rejected me.
He didn't get a place.
Every single university. I didn't even get an interview.
I've been there before.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's where it was. And I was very down in the dumps and a bit subdued. And I remember I had to sit my
Not
exams.
subdued.
Like,
Not subdued, Dr Bolu.
And it was like very like I was moping around and whatnot, and I had to kind of pick myself up afterwards, do my exams. Then that summer I was planning to take a gap year, so I went to India and I worked in India for about, I think it was 6 to 8 weeks or so. I was doing small animal veterinary and large animal veterinary. Then I came back, got my exam results. They weren't quite what I wanted. I think they were like AAB or AABB or something that wasn't quite enough. And so I looked at it like, oh, I can't even apply for clearing again. Despondent, down, subdued again. And then somebody mentioned something about Budapest, and then I found out about Budapest, Hungary, and I flew out to do an interview in Budapest, Hungary.
Wow.
And on the same day they gave me a place.
Oh my
So then I
goodness.
flew back home.
Can I just say, you could do like a Netflix documentary. No, that would be so
my
interesting.
documentary will come in like 20.
That would be very interesting. Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, and then I flew out to Budapest, did the exam, got accepted the same day, flew back home. I hadn't even told my friends yet, told my friends. Then I came back to Budapest with like a small suitcase, lived in a hostel for the first 2 weeks of uni, which is crazy, because when you're in a hostel, there's lots of moving parts and people just come in and out. I know just going to university, they're just travelling. And yeah, and then that's how my story in Budapest started. And I was in Budapest for 6 years, and then I came home to work, essentially. And I've been working for 3.5 years now, 4 years, as a general practitioner. And I want to do specialisation in surgery and orthopedics, but yeah, I'm doing a bit of TV work and stuff like that as well, and social media, and just doing a bit of everything at once. So that's my story.
Good story, wasn't it?
Very well.
Yeah, very long. It was a good story. Okay, awesome.
I think he's told that before.
Yeah, he said it. He said it here before.
So good at, you know.
Yeah, I think you probably say the story a lot. But anyway, so Dr. Rumbi, talk to us about your student life and how you found studies, and because we do have a lot of students that constantly watch as well. So, any tips that you want to give them or anything?
For being a medical student, so I worked most of the time that I was a medical student. So I worked as a midwife, and so I didn't have the full student experience.
Sorry, so you worked and studied at the same time?
Yes, so I found this out so late. So I did my midwifery degree and it was free. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I won't have any tuition fee debt. So when I got into medicine, I was like, oh, this will be my first loan. It will be great. And then student finance said, just because your degree was free, it doesn't mean we're going to fund you for another degree.
Oh, no.
So it was like a self-funded degree. And so I had to work to pay for my degree, and it was fine. All worked out well. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't have the full student experience. So I would 10 out of 10 recommend that. If you can go out, do it, enjoy it, meet people.
Oh, so you didn't get to do all of the social stuff?
I did.
But just not as much as
to the
you.
extent
Yeah,
that I think
don't
my
worry. You
personality
didn't
required.
really miss much. Just headaches and hangovers and stuff. You know?
I wanted to live that headache experience.
No,
live the
trust me.
hangover. So that's one of the things that I would say. And honestly, you feel a lot of pressure. I think that's the same for vet school. You feel a lot of pressure to pass exams, a lot of pressure that so-and-so studied this many hours, or alternatively, so-and-so got 80% but didn't study. What is so-and-so doing that I'm not, you know? So forget about that. Just focus on yourself. Focus on your ways of learning. So if you can work out, okay, I learn best by this, or I learn best by this particular thing, by doing, by recall, whatever it is that what works best for you, find it out early and utilize it, and don't worry about other people. Don't worry about the noise.
Thank you, Dr. Rumbi. I am Bright Light. Hi. The person said, wow, did you say you work and study? She's lit. She did. Yeah, she did. Okay, awesome. So we're going to go into the verses pretty soon. By the way, I already have a side that I've chosen. Obviously, I'm not going to say till the end. No, you can laugh. It's fine. Live audience, it's fine. I do have a side that I'm chosen, but I'm hoping that I can be swayed to the other side. Can I say who I'm actually on your side. I'm actually on the vet side.
She's not the first person.
I don't even like animals like that.
Since I entered the House of Medics, I've been hearing team vet, team vet, team vet. So I'm ready.
But you know the irony of it though is that.
Oh, they started.
Okay. But the irony of it is that, like, as a vet, like I feel like the vet profession in general is just so slept on. Like people just don't tend to respect vets in general.
Oh, all right.
No, like no.
Because they don't respect themselves.
Wait. How are vets not respected? How are vets not respected?
So, like, for instance, if I give you an example, just because if we're talking about like wider world as well, like for instance, during the pandemic.
But do you feel like you're disrespected constantly in life?
Sometimes, yeah, because like in the pandemic, for example, there was the whole title of the key workers and people on front line, the people going to work.
Oh, and vets weren't included.
Vets are always going to work 24/7 and 365. We go to work all the time.
But why do you think that is?
No, just there's not enough representation and voices of the vets doing it. So if there's not enough vets in the higher places, it's the same way we talk about diverse representation for ethnic minorities. There's not enough vets at the senior level making the executive decisions.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any thought of inclusivity. When vaccines were rolled out, when rules were made, there was nothing that was including vets, so we just had to kind of freestyle as a community on our own. So it was very low.
I get you.
Yeah.
So you think maybe people rate the doctors more because they're working with humans?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I always say this. I always say that a human's life is always going to be
more valuable than an
animal's life. But then the thing is that
do you think that?
So yeah, of course, I would say that a human's life is more than an animal's life. But I won't necessarily put it to a point of where it's one over the other, like in that sense. I mean, a human life is definitely going to be worth more than animals.
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
But yeah, because I can't go around me saying that my dog's life is worth more than my life. Because if I'm going to, like, as much as I love the dog, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't treat our dog any less than. That's you know what I mean. So it's just a respect.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it's just the fact of like. And I've lost double track.
It's fine. Okay. Just before we go into the full-on argument, I would like you to let our viewers know the cons of being a doctor. And I've spoken to so many doctors on this panel. It's hard work, guys. I'm not a doctor. Like I don't know anything about medicine, but it seems like it's a lot of work. You study all that stuff, and then the hours are absolutely crazy, and the pay is not good either. See, I'm doing a good job, aren't I?
And she's doing a fantastic job.
So I'll let you defend yourself before Dr Bolu does, and then we'll go back into the.
Okay, so the
Clash
pros
thing.
of being a doctor.
Yes, please.
Okay, the pros.
Of being a doctor. I thoroughly enjoy my job. I love human interactions. Getting to listen to people's stories, you know, taking an old lady's blood and she's telling me, oh yes, I used to work as this and then this happened and then my family did this, and just connecting with human beings, honestly, it's so fulfilling. So that's where I find my joy most from work, is connecting with people and human stories. There's a lot of variety, and don't let Dr. Bolu tell you about what type of variety vets have. There's a lot of variety in working as a doctor, not just within patient care. You can also diversify to teaching. You can diversify to research if you know that's what suits you best. You can go into leadership, all types of things and avenues, and also different specialties. Why do you want to know a little bit about everything when you can know a lot of detail about one particular specialty, huh?
I mean, I'm not going to start yet.
So those I would say are some of the cons: the human interactions, connecting with people, the variety that you can have within the profession, and it is lots of fun. It is lots of fun.
I've never heard a doctor say that it's fun.
We're talking about the
That's
pros.
amazing.
It is fun. It is.
No, that's really good. To be honest, I can actually see that you have a passion for what you do, unless you're like faking it.
Maybe.
But yeah, there's a clear passion for what you do. That's amazing.
Oh,
Thank you, Dr. Bolu.
The thing about being a vet and why...
Just the pros.
I know,
right?
and why it's so amazing is just the fact that everything you said as a doctor, we literally do all the same. We do everything. The connection with people, you have the connection with people because people come attached with the pets. And you know the amount of life stories I had to sit down and hear through people, or things I had to discuss when you're discussing with the people. You get that connection on a one-to-one basis. The other side is that you start to do the relationship with animals, and if you're good with animals, there's something so, it's not tangible, you can't really touch it when you're talking about working with animals and being able to help an animal.
Yeah.
Especially because they can't talk, they can't tell you what's wrong, and their reaction is very pure. There's no underlying motive, there's no questioning back, there's no talking. It's either they get better or they get worse. And so being able to help them and see them get better and just go about their thing, like from being sick, you can see a down animal to healing get, you're like, oh, you know, it's like, okay, so then you just all of a sudden you feel that fulfillment and it feels amazing. But in the same thing, like you said, there's so many things you can do, some different avenues, and as a general practicing vet, yeah, like you said, as a general practicing vet, I know a lot of things, but not as deep on a lot of subjects, and I can do a lot of things, and I'm capable of doing a lot of things, and quite a broad variety of things, whether it be surgery or whatever. But there are specialists. It's the same thing. There are specialists. There's people that spend their life specializing in certain things. Now, human specialism goes very deep, very, very deep, and I think that's again testament to the fact that a human's life will always be priced more than an animal's life. But we're getting there in vet medicine. There's a lot of things that we're deep in. We've got the oncology specialists. We've got the ophthalmology specialists. We've got, you know, everything. So they've got a lot of specialists in everything. So yeah,
awesome.
I think.
Thank you.
You know, we take it all.
No shade. Awesome. Thank you. Quick question before we go to our advert. Would you rather spend time with a person or an animal?
Like as in, if you like animals, if you enjoy animals, right?
So you have a dog, right?
I did. I had to put it to sleep last year.
Oh, I thought you got another one.
No, I haven't. No.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so you'd rather spend time with your dog. I'm not saying this is bad, but I'm just asking. You'd rather spend time with your dog than like one-on-one with a person. You'd rather be with a dog.
If I had to choose, and we're talking about how long is time, like say you were trapped on a desert island, would you rather be with a dog or would you rather be with another person?
But I mean,
like if this is the situation that I'm asking, then I'd rather be with a dog because I know the dog will. A dog's got me. That person, after a while, might start looking at me like
food. That's it. But the dog might as well.
Yeah, but the dog, at least it's the dog. Like the dog, it looks at everything as food too. In a way, so it's like we know.
Yeah, but then the
and
human can.
Loyalty undenying.
Yeah, but the human can go and get wood and make a house and go and catch
I would
fish.
do it myself. Like,
What if you're sick because you got poisoned by eating a berry?
Fine, because the human person just be looking at you and they'll be eating food and what you saying.
Hello.
Oh, fickle. They might just escape off the island.
True.
And leave you
It's
behind.
true. It's true.
That's even more heartbreaking when somebody leaves you behind.
Very true. The dog might leave you behind. The dog might find another dog and leave you behind.
Then you were all on the island together with multiple dogs.
Oh gosh. Okay. Perfect time for a break. So this is our one of our sponsors, Flaky Bakes. Shout out to Flaky Bakes. Thank you guys for always giving us amazing patties. Enjoy the advert. We'll see you soon. We're not finished. Please don't forget to click the thumbs up button on this video, and also please begin to send your questions in. This part's going to get a bit fiery, so send your questions in, and at the end I'll ask everybody in-house in the studio to vote and everybody online to vote as well. Right, so Dr Rumbi,
Yes.
tell Dr Bolu tell him why doctors are better than vets.
I was saying earlier, you know, if you were on an aeroplane and there was an emergency, you know, they said someone is having anaphylaxis, someone is dying.
Having what, sorry?
There's an emergency, someone's having an allergic reaction. You know.
Right.
Okay,
What did you call it?
Anaphylaxis.
An anaphylaxis.
Yeah.
Wow.
I need to
She's working
reframe my
her
thinking.
No, it's good.
translatable skills.
Yeah.
It's good because you're teaching me, so it's good.
See,
Anaphylaxis. Okay.
so someone's having some big emergency and they ask for a doctor on the plane and a vet stands up.
I wouldn't trust the vet. I'd be like, but you're a vet.
Yeah.
Would you? We'll see in the comments. We'll see what the people say.
And that's fine. But like, you know, like...
But wait, is what she's saying true? Is that...
On a plane, yeah, of course I'm not going to try and save a person. And like... of course,
Do you think there's more humans in the world than animals?
No, there's not, unfortunately.
How do you know?
We kill something like 3 billion chickens a year.
So there's more humans in the world than
There's
animals.
definitely more animals in the world than humans. So that's just the chicken population. So like, you know, but of course I'm not going to jump to try and save somebody's life on a plane. Obviously, in worst case scenario, I'm medically trained to know what I can do. If somebody has an anaphylaxis, I suffer from anaphylaxis as well. I understand how that works. I can either give them an EpiPen, epinephrine. I can perform a tracheostomy if I really wanted to.
Oh.
Like if I really was pushed it. The real question should be, if you're gonna market in hyperbolic situations, then maybe we should take it to zombie apocalypse.
Not hyperbolic.
Yeah, hyperbolic. If we're gonna exaggerate heavy.
Yeah.
That wasn't even that's a real life scenario.
Which
That's
is a
I
real
don't
life
even think that's a
scenario.
big
And if somebody's on a plane, but then there's gonna be, if we're talking about a real life scenario and they say, is there a medic on a plane and somebody's going
It's just not gonna be you.
Yeah, of course it's never gonna be me, so why is that even a debate?
Because she's trying to say that's why doctors are better than
That's like me
vets.
saying that
And that's a good point.
But that's like me saying if we're on a farm and a cow is giving birth
I can deliver
and the cow is stuck.
Listen,
and
the
the cow is
farmers,
stuck. Can
the
you
farmers themselves deliver their own cows.
No,
they
no,
don't even eat vets.
can you perform a cesarean section?
Yes.
On a cow?
No.
Wait, why can't you?
Do you know how to do it?
No, but I'm asking why
Do
can't
we
you?
not need to just cut and deliver?
And keep the cow intact. And you're keeping the cow intact alive as well.
No, you. So.
No, but
I mean,
in order to perform a cesarean section on the cow whilst it's standing as well, you need the right medication.
No, you put the cow down.
Now he's
Because down the
giving
cow is
us
different.
hyperbolic situations.
See, but this is what I mean. So, like, there's no point in me judging you on individual fields, because if you're saying it's your responsibility to save a life on a plane, it's not my responsibility to save a life on a plane. It's for me to go to the next country that I'm going to and enjoy myself. Worst case scenario, if there was somebody really suffering, that's where the difference lies between vets and doctors. That worst case scenario, if there was something suffering and there was no medic around, and I saw somebody genuinely needed medical help, and I thought that I have the medical wherewithal to be able to do something to make a difference, then I can do it.
But you wouldn't. But you're not trained to do it.
I'm not trained to do it, but scientifically I understand what symptoms might look like and things like that. So I understand what symptoms might look like, what an emergency might look like, how I could relieve this person's suffering in that time, or what kind of medications I might need. Whereas, if there was something in the animal space, a doctor wouldn't be able to do anything.
I feel like if a dog was choking, I could help it.
And would you know what to do?
You see the sentence that she just said. Even I don't believe you. He said, "I feel like if a dog was choking, I could help it." No,
and that's talking about, like, we're talking about, because the problem about being a vet as well is that the thing is that when an animal's doing something, you have to understand the animal's behaviour. A lot of people don't even understand animal behaviour, so they go in, they get bitten or something like that, or they don't. So to be able to understand, okay, how am I going to help this dog, or how am I going to approach this patient without them being scared of me, without them being, intimidated, about them.
But it's the same with a human, because
let's
say a human.
Can talk to them and reason.
But that's what I'm going to say. Let's say the human is out cold or they fainted, but let's say my arm is still moving while I'm unresponsive. You have to understand or realize why I'm doing that, right?
Right.
Yeah. And how would the doctor go about realizing that somebody is unresponsive? You create list differentials in your head as to why they possibly could have.
It's the same thing as it's the same thing as a cat. If a cat was there with his arm going like that, what would you do? Yeah.
But I'm saying that's what I mean. That it's the same thing. It's the same process of thought, and it's the same procedure that we would take in order to get to a conclusion. The point of my argument comes from the fact that I can apply knowledge from veterinary medicine towards the human body, whereas it's completely different for a human medic to apply knowledge
to an animal.
Because of the complexity of the physiology. So it's easier to learn from the physiology of animals and then apply, then go the other direction.
So would you say being a vet is easier? Being a doctor is easier because bodies are the same, but with vets, you've got a cat that's very small, you've got a cow that's very big, you've got a giraffe that's even bigger.
That's such a good question. Are bodies the same?
Thanks.
I think there's so much
they're
variety.
not. I don't think bodies are the same. Human bodies.
In fairness, I would say no two human bodies are the same. Yes, we're all unique, but there's no human with 4 stomachs or different types of stomachs. And different types of digestive anatomy. Or there's no.
What animal has 4 stomachs?
Cows. So all ruminants, in fact, so like cows, and then you've got like your deer as well.
Cows have 4 stomachs.
Yeah,
That's so strange.
Like I believe it's octopus that have 4 hearts as well. So Like, you know, so it's different. It's different, and you know, birds have a gizzard, you know, versus
Birds
an
have a
actual
what?
digestive
Sorry.
gizzard. You know, gizzard. Have you eaten gizzard before?
I have.
That's a
eaten
muscular
gizzard.
stomach. That's a muscular
Gizzard
stomach.
is a stomach.
Yeah, it's a type of stomach, so it's a muscular stomach for grinding seeds down. Whereas they have
Right.
another stomach with the acid in, which will help digest stuff. Yeah.
Well,
I think as a doctor, though,
okay.
you are looking after people,
Mm.
you're looking after babies, you know, there's other types of complexity. And also, I think the stakes are high as a vet, but the stakes are very high in human medicine, particularly, you know, if we're talking about, maybe it is easier to learn about babies and adults than it is to learn about all the animals, but the stakes are, I think, higher.
So where I agree with you, I think this.
Did you say you agree?
No, so where I agree.
Oh,
So
I was gonna say you've won.
Let's do the location, because I would say that the stakes are exactly the same. The part that's high is where society
Absolutely.
will put value in it, which is why I started at the beginning saying that a human life, no matter what we do for now, is always going to be valued more than an animal's life. Regardless of whatever we do, whatever we say, a human life will always be paramount first. Okay?
Do you feel that's correct?
Yeah, I feel that whether I feel that's correct or not is.
No,
is
you.
different
I'm
because-
asking your opinion.
Because
He did, he said earlier
It's-
he
yeah,
would
that
he
I-
does
he would-
think
yeah.
that
Yeah.
I would like,
Yeah.
because you know, if for instance, God forbid, if anything, but I don't have a sister, but if I had a sister and she needed a heart transplant and my dog needed a heart transplant, and I'm trying
Give
to
it,
figure out the
of
money,
course.
I'd go to my sister first, because a human life is always. But we're getting to the point at which we recognise animals as sentient beings. We understand they have feelings. We understand that they move. We understand the value, especially in a first world country where we have a lot of pets. People, and unless you have a pet, you can't really understand it. But the attachment to
Yeah.
animals is different, and how you feel about it. So, but in terms of like stakes as well. So the reason why I say that human medicine, the stakes might be more difficult to manage, and is because again of that value of a human life. So because we put the human life so high, it's difficult for, because when we make mistakes, we can get reprimanded, we can lose our license, we can no longer practice and things like that, or we lose a life. But then fundamentally in human medicine as well, if you lose a life, you're losing a human life. But I wear that as a vet, as an individual vet, you'll wear that same weight on your shoulder that wear a doctor, which is why I say I can agree with stakes, but then I guess from a societal view, people will look at human medicine as a higher stake situation. But this is something that I think a lot of people forget as well, that vets, we have the practical role, but vets are also responsible for government and also responsible for the food chain and all disease control.
Take me back to government.
So when I'm talking about within government, I'm talking about in terms of legislation. So legislation passing for our food, because people don't realise that.
What's that got to do with a vet?
Exactly. So in order for your food to be safe on the table, who's inspecting the meat?
The butcher.
Nah, before it gets to
That's what I thought as well. I didn't know
before
that's
it even
involved.
gets to the butcher, you've got the vets that are working out before making sure that the animals, well, on the farm. You're talking about from grass right down to your plate.
Isn't that the farmer?
So you got on the farmer consults the vet for any medication that the animal has before they get sick. The vet's making sure that medications aren't passed through the food chain, making sure the animal's healthy all the way through.
Question. How do you make sure that we don't digest animals' tablets that they've already had?
So that's different types of medications that we have, withdrawal periods. That's a different subject, but I won't go too deep into
Also,
that.
remind me to come back to antibiotics.
Yeah.
Continue, but remind me.
We'll get there. So,
I'll remind you, don't worry.
yeah, okay. Oh, and even if you want to go there, but yeah. Okay. So and then so we go through from grass. So we go from animal being born, animal being looked after throughout all its lifehood. The vets are also responsible for slaughtering the animal. The vets on site. Yeah. So there's people that are present in.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Exactly, and they're responsible to make sure the animals are slaughtered humanely. They're also there to make sure that afterwards, after they've been slaughtered, what their carcass is divided into, making sure there's no parasites present, making sure that the food is safe.
So have you done this?
Yes, I had to do this in university. This was in my last year of university. I had to go.
You guys do a lot then.
Exactly. I don't do it now because obviously when you choose where you want to be, and there's some vets that work solely in slaughterhouses. So they just work in the mornings, they get up and they look at carcasses, inspect different types of carcasses and make sure it's fit for human consumption.
Just what Emma said, so you guys kill the animals as well as save them.
That's it, man. That's it. But then this is the thing as well, is that people don't realise that we used to say this thing in vet school, is that veterinary medicine was made to protect the human race. Doctors, yes, they save humans, but without vets, we wouldn't have any farm animal consumption, we wouldn't have any produce that lives on our plate. And then,
But at the same time, without doctors, we wouldn't have people who can look after the animals for us to eat the animals.
course,
See,
yeah.
see.
Which is
Oh, you're
Dr.
working.
Rumbi,
Which is-
You're on job.
Which is phenomenal.
You know,
but
you need
like,
to-
which is phenomenal. But arguably, would you not think that there's enough humans on this earth right now?
No.
Are we not over-consuming?
No.
Are we not over-consuming?
No, we're not.
Because there's 7 billion people now, and they're saying to the point of where in the next 30 years we're going to start fighting for water. And it's like, how many people?
Weren't we just fighting for water the other day during the pandemic?
I mean, but it's just a matter of we're there in order to protect the food chain, and then that's the food chain. And then we talk about something like COVID, which is why a lot of discussions in the veterinary profession, we talk about diseases a lot. Do you know what zoonosis is?
How?
I know, I just want to...
Zoonosis.
So zoonosis
Jesus.
is any disease that can transfer from animals to humans. Okay?
Okay,
And that is, whenever you get a pandemic,
I'm gonna Google it.
yeah,
I'm
well,
listening
just
to you.
listen
I know.
to
I'm
it,
gonna
but
Google it.
whenever you hear a pandemic or any of these major outbreaks like bird flu, swine flu, coronavirus, TB, foot and mouth
Ebola.
disease, Ebola, the first port of call will be veterinarians first, because scientists will be finding stuff, but the veterinarians find are the link between.
Oh, so
how
this is
things
what you
are-
mean by government.
Exactly. So
Okay.
so in terms of that government, in terms of that, there might be epidemiology or laws with regards to.
What's
to
epidemi?
Epidemiology is the
You're making my
is
head
tracing
hurt.
back diseases from where they come from.
Flippin'
Their
heck.
epicenters, where they came from.
Okay.
So yeah, like there's a lot of work in what vets do, which is so much behind the scenes that you don't even realise that vets are actually trying to protect the whole human race and not just.
Do you
hunting
have a
dogs.
doctor?
Pardon?
Do you have a doctor?
Do I have a doctor, like a personal doctor?
Mm.
Yeah, like as in, do I go to a human doctor too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like who does the doctor go to when he's sick?
The argument's finished.
But in fairness, I don't use my doctor. But
Why? Do
I
you-
should. Because the thing is that it's illegal for me to prescribe my own medications. So
Wait, so if you could, you'd prescribe.
I prescribe medications, but I can't. It'd be illegal use of my license. The same as doctors can't. I believe you can't
I
prescribe your
wouldn't
own license.
prescribe something for myself now.
So you need your own doctor.
Yes.
Exactly. So,
I go to my doctor,
exactly.
unlike the vet.
I know, but if you look, actually, I don't think it's a vet thing. I think it's a male thing. I think a lot of men generally have it. There's a stigma on men going to. I don't know.
Well,
The medics
today
can correct
we're
me
making
lot,
it
but,
a vet thing.
I mean,
So
make it a vet
just
thing.
for today.
I don't need no doctor.
Okay, cool. So Dr. Rumbi, I still need a couple more points out of you, just so you can just let him know.
I add a few more points.
Oh,
Dr.
antibiotics.
Yes, Dr. Bolu
Yes.
was talking about how vets help, save humans and feed humans. However, vets have been using a lot of the same antibiotics that we use in human medicine. Now you can't have your amoxicillin. Your amoxicillin is not treating your chest infection because Dr. Bolu has been giving the cows amoxicillin. Now the amoxicillin
I
doesn't
was
work.
waiting for this one. I was waiting.
Sorry, wait, hold on. So, so much going on. So the animals have the same medicine that we have.
Yeah. So in some cases, not all the same medications, but there are some cases where amoxicillin, for instance, is a broad spectrum antibiotic. Yes, and so there's a lot of argument from human medicine that apparently veterinarians overprescribe
Apparently.
and it's overused, but actually there's actually scientific literature to prove that the usage of amoxicillin, broad spectrum antibiotics, is more predominantly misused in human medicine than it is in veterinary medicine.
I think
Through our cascade,
by volume, vets definitely use more, just because there's more animals than people, right?
We're not using amoxicillin or antibiotics as our first port of call. Even like we have EU regulations because there was a point in time, I think, where people used to use antibiotics in order to help promote growth in animals.
Yes.
Not necessarily amoxicillin, but different types of antibiotics because the way it works is that the antibiotics destroy certain bacteria in the gut, makes the animal more susceptible to absorb more of the nutrients, and then it becomes fatter, and then it's bigger for the food plate. Technically, if you ask who's driving that, it's not necessarily the vets anyway, but we won't go that direction anyway. We won't go that direction anyway. But in terms of that, the antibiotics, we don't necessarily use antibiotics as a first port of call. So there's EU regulation that stops us from even using antibiotics, period, as a food promoter. So it's not even used as a food promoter. But like human medics do, we have a cascade. And so there's a cascade in which we can use the medications and when we can use the medication. And in fairness, we don't use it as a first port of call. So unfortunately, it's not. It's humans that like to shift the blame and say the vets are doing it, but really we're the ones who are looking after everybody.
And I'm gonna need someone to Google this, but I think
Oh,
is
good,
even
good.
a link between use of antibiotics in animals and obesity in children. So I don't know what's going on with the vets, guys.
You can even, the problem is about this saying, you can unjustify links in everything because there will be obesity in children and
animals.
and a general practitioner.
But isn't there there's obesity in animals as well, right?
There's obesity in animals,
Yeah.
that's because of a human pandemic, because of people overfeeding their pets. That's one thing. But obesity in children can be linked to their general practitioner as well, directly, not even indirectly. So,
I mean, you could argue both ways.
I mean, you could definitively say that their doctor could be the
So
cause
what
of
you're
their
saying is
obesity.
that Dr. Rumbi is the reason why some people
If you
are
want to put it
overweight.
like that, yeah, she's the reason why people. I'm less likely. No, what I'm saying is, I'm less likely to be the cause. If we're gonna take it on an individual, I'm less likely to be the cause of your child's obesity. It's more likely.
Yeah, because you don't deal with children.
Exactly. So who?
Yeah,
but
you could be the reason for a cat's obesity.
I could be the reason for a cat's obesity.
So what I mean is.
Children, but that's the point she brought up.
No, what I mean is the antibiotics that are given to animals that they eat, and then we eat the meat. That has been linked to obesity in children.
And I just clarified that in the EU we have the legislation which doesn't allow us to use antibiotics. So we can't even use antibiotics in animals. So it's it's debunked. It's
good. Okay. And breathe, guys. Have a quick breather. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to think of a closing statement before we go to the questions. And just think about why doctors are better than vets and why vets could be better than doctors. So I'll give you guys a moment. Quickly going to go through the questions that have been sent to me via WhatsApp.
So we just ruminate on our closing statements.
I mean, I've got mine.
You go then. Go. Let's hear it.
It's just simple as real doctors do more than one species. That's it. Right? that's what I have to say.
Okay.
We just do more
Okay,
than
so
one
his closing sentence was real doctors do more than one species. But you don't do humans.
We can if we wanted to.
But not very effectively.
But humans can. I can still save a life. Humans couldn't save a dog's life, unfortunately.
Do you know how to do the?
Broad statement.
If someone's choking, do you know how to do the thingy magic?
What, CPR?
No, what's the thing when you that thing?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do that, Doctor?
Most people know how.
I do.
Exactly. See, so most people know how. Most people know how to do CPR. Most people know how to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Even though I feel like less likely to need mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, right? Yeah. But CPR is most likely going to be needed in an emergency, chest compressions, over everything.
Is that what you do to animals?
Exactly, in case of emergency.
Crazy.
So in those cases, yeah, but like, if we were to do a day in a life,
It's just a closing statement.
I know, but you just
right?
asked me.
I know, but we're not trying to go back into the.
Let's do it. Look, if we just do a day in the life and we switch, who would tolerate each day in the life more?
I think I would be fantastic. I think the pets would love me. The owners would have a great time. Would drink lots of tea, and maybe no operations would happen that day. But that's okay.
Maybe.
Maybe come back tomorrow.
Okay, cool. So, Dr. Rumbi, your closing statement as to why doctors are better than vets.
Would you want someone looking after you who has learnt about like 20 different species, knows a little bit about all these 20 different species, or would you want to be looked after by someone who knows all about humans, went to uni for humans, and studied all about human anatomy and medicine? Yeah, I would prefer the human doctor.
Can I just
Nope.
Irrespective of what you have heard, I would still prefer the human doctor.
Imagine if all
Dr.
doctors
Bolu?
disappeared on the earth.
No. Okay, cool. So I'm going to give everybody online and everyone in the studio, if you can send your votes in, human, well, I was going to say pets or vets. Human doctors or vets, please send your votes in, and then we'll go to 2 or 3 questions. And then I'm going to say who I think won. So send your votes in, please, guys. Onyeka, you're laughing, but you didn't vote, sir. Send your vote. Team vet. That cat's actually quite cute.
I want to see if I can find the
Doctors of.
and some literature.
Yeah, don't worry, so I'm sure.
Right, so you've got 1 for vets, 1 for doctor. Keep sending your votes in. Keep sending your votes in, guys. Honestly, it's not fair on Dr. Bolu because everyone watching and voting is human. A shame these pets can't vote today. Rescuing a cat from the second floor today. Okay, so we've got two for vets, 2 for doctor.
The doctor's vague, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I am also a doctor, so you have to specify which kind of doctor.
I
Because
shouldn't
if
have
you say
said
doctor,
that. I shouldn't have said
If you
that.
say doctor,
Okay,
you mean Dr. Bolu.
No, but they were meant to say doctor or vet, so it means it's for doctor.
Okay.
So we've got
Thank
3
Dr. Vet.
team doctor vet. Okay, so it looks like we have 3 for doctor. Oh,
4 for doctors.
4 for doctors
Doctor's gonna win.
and 2 for vets.
It's fine, the doctor's like, I'm okay.
Wait, hold on. Let's see if anybody else is gonna send. Someone just messaged me saying who makes more money. That has my vote.
Human doctors make money.
Okay, so you lost on that one as well then.
Like, it's the truth. I don't know what we're scaling the better on. That's the problem.
Yeah, well. Okay. It looks like the doctors won today, guys. So congratulations, based on the votes.
Congratulations to
You
you
have
guys
won.
for making the right choice. No, I'm joking. I think if I would have voted, I would have voted for Team Vet.
So my decision is team vets, only because I think it seems more interesting than
I
being
don't know.
a doctor.
I think you can be equally interested.
I don't know, because the human body is just a human body, but you can work with like
But you know
a
there's-
pig
But
or. So now you're against yourself.
No. Yeah, but I have to play devil's advocate at some point. Yeah? And
Okay.
if I'm going to give respect to the human medicine, the depth in which human medicine goes into. Like, I read a lot of books about doctors and things like that and the medical profession. And there are people who their sole career is to operate on just the arteries in the brain. Or I was listening to an electrophysiologist who his responsibility.
An electrophysiologist.
I think it was an electrophysiologist whose his responsibility is to listen to the sounds that neurons in the brain, which are your nerves, neurons in the brain make in order for the neurosurgeon to know where to operate in the brain. So do you know how that? And
Yeah,
that person might
that's
not know
crazy.
anything about anything else, but they just listen to what would sound like static to us is a sequence of codes of neurons. Specific. Nobody's going to go that deep into animal medicine. It's not that deep. Maybe one day in the very far future. But obviously, because we're so self-centered as human beings, we want to progress our lives.
Is that why you like animals better? Because you think we're self-centered?
No, I just enjoy animals. Animals are amazing. Animals are cool, man.
Okay,
Puppy,
awesome.
it's cool, man.
Awesome, thank you guys so much. So let's close with your social media handles. Doctor, if you want to give us your social media handles, can any students contact you on there, message you? Are you open to mentorship or anything like that?
Yes, you're very welcome to find me on Instagram and TikTok at Dr Rumbi. Oh no, at Rumbi the Medic. Oh my gosh, I don't even know my own handle. Clearly I wasn't prepared. And absolutely, you're very welcome to message me. I'm working in A&E at the moment, so don't be alarmed if there's a pause before getting a reply. But, you know, trying to navigate the space, and we were talking about representation earlier, trying to navigate a space, let's say applying for medicine or applying for midwifery or making a transition from medicine, nursing, from midwifery, nursing, etc. to medicine. It's a little bit easier if you see someone who's maybe done the same thing and maybe asking specific questions that other people might not necessarily have the answers to, or Google might not have the answers to. So yeah, you're very welcome to message me as well.
Awesome, thank you, Doctor. Dr. Bolu?
I'm Dr Bolu SO. On Instagram, my Instagram is at Dr Bolu SO. My TikTok is DocBodge, that's DOCBOJ. On Sundays, I'm on ITV Love Your Weekend every now and then, and I am working with Button Up Box on their YouTube channel as well. So maybe change your YouTube channel, go to Button Up Box, go to their YouTube channel, and yeah, that's everything. If you want to reach me, try and send me a message. I will always try my hardest to get back to people who actually need help. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome, thank you guys. So, thank you so much for joining. We have been House of Medics. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Just before I run off, let me tell you our social media handles. So it's www.wearehouseofmedics.org, and the TikTok is We Are House of Medics, and our Twitter is We Are House of Medics, and we're also on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook, and have I missed anything out? I don't think so. I think that's everything. So again, Thank you guys so much for joining us. I will see you again in 2 weeks. Take care.